What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I want to talk about Nick Cannon and him during an interview with T.I. on the Expeditiously podcast. I believe I'm saying that correctly. He spoke about why he will never get married again and why he doesn't even want to be in relationships either. He just basically want to be to himself. Now, I want to say this. I'm thinking about playing the clip at the beginning of the video. I don't know yet. You'll see the final product. But I just want to say T.I. actually did a good job interviewing him. You know, T.I.'s got this new podcast. I actually put a link to the entire 13-minute video, and y'all can go and check it out. But I want to speak about, you know, T.I. and his interviewing. I think he actually did a good job interviewing Nick Cannon. And I'm definitely going to speak on these points that Nick Cannon made. But I want to say this. Nick Cannon is not the only guy. He's actually been through marriage, and other guys have as well. And they have vowed to never get married again. I think there's a lot of females that don't understand that. They don't understand the notion of a man wanting to not only not get married again, but be single. It's the red pill philosophy that has been growing, especially on social media. The men going your own way movement. If you listen to Nick Cannon, he is almost as if he's speaking as a guy who's going his own way. You know, he says he still loves women. You know, I'm pretty sure he's getting it in with women, but he does not want to, in his words, be, you know, responsible for another person's happiness. You know, he's trying to be responsible for his own happiness. Now, these are the points that he brought up. He said marriage is to please women. And I believe that. That is why you have a lot of women who are, you know, so quick to want marriage, you know, without actually understanding that it's a burden on men, especially men with money and resources, to get married, because if she doesn't sign a prenup and that relationship goes south and she files for divorce, she can walk away with a good chunk of what he's worked for. And Nick Cannon is a very hardworking guy. You know, he hosts TV shows. He does radio. The guy's very busy. He's actually somebody that, you know, is an inspiration to me to work as hard as I do. Just seeing his hustle and how hard he goes. And he's been working hard ever since he was married, even before he was married to Mariah. He's just a very hardworking guy, you know. And he's definitely one of the people that I look to as far as motivation to work as hard as I do, you know. Now, there's certain things, you know, certain beliefs that he has that I'm not necessarily in agreement with. But that's what a lot of these celebrities, they say things and do things I don't necessarily agree with. But the one thing I can say I agree with Nick Cannon is his perspective on life in regards to his own happiness, you know. And I think when it comes to marriage, I think women really don't have anything to lose when it comes to marriage, unless they're walking into the marriage, you know, making more than the other guy. But just like in Fantasia's case, it could be a situation where, you know, she's making more than him, but he signs a prenup. Most women ain't gonna sign no prenup, and that's why they love getting into marriages, because they don't lose anything. That guy he stands a chance of losing a lot, you know, due to that marriage. And I think that, you know, he even mentioned it in the interview that marriage can be stressful. You know, relationships can be stressful, you know, and he's looking out not only for himself financially, but he's looking out for his own sanity and his own health, you know. He also says that he doesn't want to be with just one woman again, you know. I kind of find it hilarious that he was interviewed by T.I., because T.I. is the type of guy, he's not a one woman man either. But he is married to Tiny, you know, whatever arrangement, whatever they got going on, you know. But I can understand Nick. Nick is still at an age where he wants to play the field. He doesn't want to commit to just one woman. And lucky for him, he don't got to. There are women who are willing to deal in casual relations with Nick and other men. You know what I'm saying? There are women out there who will do that. That's why you got women who are willing to be side chicks, because they don't want the responsibility of being with just one guy, being the number one chick. They like being the side chick because they're able to be with the guy they want to be with at certain moments, but they're not exactly in a relationship. She doesn't have to, worry about who he's with and what he's doing, even though she is the other woman. There are some women who don't care about being the other woman, right? Now, also, monogamy. I think that was something that was definitely, I could tell that Nick is just not for monogamy. And I think that, again, because he likes being single and he doesn't want to have to deal with a relationship, I don't think that I think guys who have money and resources like him, they don't really care. They don't really care to be in monogamous relationships. And I think a lot of women who get with these, celebrities or men with money and resources have to understand this, is that there are those guys that just don't want monogamy because they have a lot of women who come at them. And we've all heard from various women say that they only want to deal with guys who get attention from a lot of women. So you can interpret that, as, he has women who he's sleeping with here and there. And they're good with that until they're ready to leave. Okay. Now, he also mentioned his marriage to Mariah. They was thinking about marriage. One interesting thing that he said was that the marriage didn't end because he was stepping out or she was stepping out. Because I think people have made those assumptions, but I still think they have a good relationship with each other. So apparently, in the context of their marriage, everything was good. He wasn't messing around with different women, and she wasn't messing around with different guys on them. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that, but I think that he, to a certain degree, was just for Mariah, and the family they had built, and the fact that he's saying, listen, there was no messing around in this situation. The marriage just didn't work out, So all I can do is take his word for it, Now, he also said that he didn't like the idea of getting married. Like, before he got Mariah, I think what happened was Mariah probably said that the only way she would be with him is if they did get married. And I think Nick was finally with the woman he probably always wanted to be with. And I think guys are willing to make commitments to women they've always wanted to be with. I've seen it. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases, I see guys, they will commit to women again they've always wanted to be with. I think he's always had a thing for Mariah, and the opportunity presented itself. He went in and said, you know what? Let's do it. And I think guys have to really understand that, you can't just commit to somebody just because they say that that's the only way to get with them. It's just like women who withhold relations. They withhold it because they think that's going to get them the guy that they want, get them the type of commitment that they want. Now, that may work, but once that guy gets what he wants, he's either going to stay or he's going to flee, And I think women have to be a good judge of character when it comes to guys and, the situations that they get into relationship wise, because they're going to end up single and miserable and bitter on the dating market. Okay. Now, they also, T.I. brought up a polyamory. Okay. And Nick was not for that at all. He was like, why be, in a committed relationship with, all these different women? He's like, no, it's like, I'd rather just be by myself. He even referenced having a tattoo about being a loner. And you're starting to see that more with a lot of men and women. A lot of people just embracing, being loners. T.I. disagreed about being single and saying, you know what, you got to find somebody. But getting back to the polyamory, T.I.'s in one of those relationships. And, I could tell that that's something that him and Tiny have engaged in. They did break up here and there, but there have been talk that they've had numerous women in the middle of their situation, right? So I think that's something that celebrity couples do, even regular couples do. They bring other women into the equation, or they may have an open relationship where they deal with other people just to keep the marriage going. And what I can tell with Nick, he was a bit, he was like, nah, I'm not doing that at all. I think Nick, he even said it in the interview that he's a romantic, and due to my zodiac sign, people would assume I'm a romantic. I think I was when I was younger, into my teens. You romanticize about the life you have with women, the white picket fence, a couple kids. You would think about all those things. The type of life you would have. I think Nick is, at that point to where, I think he may still be a romantic, but he just doesn't want to take that leap to get married again. And I think that T.I., who's married himself, I think he has settled into his role as a married man, and he's just gonna do him, and Tiny's gonna do her, and that's just the relationship they're going to have with each other. I don't think guys like Nick are for that. You know what I'm saying? Like marriage, when these guys get out of these marriages, it does something to them. Nick was literally working himself into the ground during his marriage with Mariah because he wanted to, I think, live up to a standard as the man of the relationship. Because you got to remember, Nick was younger. Well, he is younger, but when they started dating, he was younger than her. When they got married, he was younger than her. And people looked down upon that. And because of who she was and, her net worth, I think that, Nick felt the need to go the extra mile in order to show that he was the right one for her. And I think that it caused him a lot of stress, and he talked about it in the interview. Now, he also talked about, why he's choosing to be single, because he's trying to figure himself out. He's trying to figure himself out. He doesn't want to have to deal with no relationships. I think he might have PTSD from his marriage. That's what I think. Because again, just like I said, he had to literally work himself into the ground in order to fit what he felt society wants him to be as far as the man of the house leading the relationship, because of just the optics of the relationship. She's older. She's a little older, and she's more accomplished. And he felt the need to work on building up his accomplishments. And I think that has had a profound effect on him, But Nick Cannon is a hard worker. Now, I will say this about T.I. T.I. mentioned, because they're speaking their guy, because Nick said in the interview that they needed some women in the room. They need some women to bring to the conversation. And T.I. was like, for what? This is a platform for men to be able to speak honestly and openly, and I can appreciate that about T.I.'s platform. That's why I'm going to send y'all over there to check out the 13-minute video where they speak on this. I'm all for men having a platform to speak openly and honestly about their feelings and emotions. We should not have to filter anything. Even though you see women on my channels and in my chat rooms on live shows, that doesn't mean that we're still going to stop talking and having the type of conversations men that we have. It's just that women are curious and women want to listen, And I can appreciate T.I. saying, what, let's have guy talk, So y'all interesting in the comment section below. And yeah.